If I was Lando's driver, coach, and mentor, here's an exercise that I'd have him go through to practice open-mindedness and preparation. Now, you've got the talent and the speed, but are you willing to forgo being talented for being a champion? Because preparation sits in the middle. Don't blame yourself because that's not helpful, but just do the preparation. Let's say you go for a walk to the shops 10 minutes away to go grab some berries, and on the way back, you get absolutely soaked with rain. I want you to list out for me 25 ways that you could avoid getting wet. Now, you could come up with simple ways like bring an umbrella, wear a rain jacket, drive instead of walk, check the forecast before you go. But as you practice this exercise more and more, you actually begin to come up with really creative solutions. For example, instead of walking to your closest shopping center 10 minutes in the north, why don't you walk in the south and avoid the rain even though it's a little bit further? Number two, as it turns out, it's rained 95 years in a row on this particular day. If you'd done some historical research, maybe you wouldn't have got wet. Grow your own strawberries so you wouldn't have had to leave home. You could also avoid being wet. So you see now, there's quite a few ways that you can avoid being wet. So list out 25 for me. So now that you've got the right mindset, think about this. In a 20-minute Q1 session where there was a yellow flag for 20 seconds, how could you have made it into Q2? Now look, I get it. It was unlucky. It was shit. It was bad timing. You can't control that. So focus on the things you can control. Number one, do a stronger first run. That means you don't need to go out again. Number two, delay your first run. If the track is improving, let's do it 10 minutes into the session. Number three, complete your lap. If you had have completed your lap, maybe you would have made it into Q2. Number four, react to the changing lights. The first one went out when you got there. The second one went green when you got there. Are the lights applicable to you at the time you see them, or are they only applicable at the time you pass through them? Could you complete the lap and then argue the point that you didn't actually pass through a yellow? What's the penalty anyway? Sometimes it's a grid drop and it might be worth it. You might have made it into Q2. Could you have done a lift and then still made it through? Do your historical research. You got a yellow flag on your final run in a street circuit. Happens pretty often. If you do your preparation, you can either avoid this situation or learn how to manage it. Now look, I don't have all the answers to these questions, but I'm just pressing up against the areas where I think there might be some cracks and opportunities. I'm also not saying that safety doesn't 110% come first. When a yellow flag is shown, you do need to slow down and lift. But how can you A, still slow down and make it into Q2, or B, just totally avoid this situation altogether? Champions always find a way. You can do the same exercise for Austria. There's probably 25 ways you could have won that race as well. If you start to think in this way, and actually you realize that you've got more control than you initially first thought, and you start to find some creative solutions to find a way through and get where you want to go. I hope it helps. Good luck.